Hey, buenos dias, que paso amigos, John's Moto Garage. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking the FXTX out for a ride, and shots have been fired, you guys. The Harley Riders have been lambasted by Yammienoob and his crew. Not too long ago, they released a video going over 9 things that only Harley Riders do.
So you just picked up your shiny new Harley Davidson.
And I watched the video, I felt very offended, I felt hurt, I felt like they totally put us down, bro. And so today, we're gonna put those claims to the test. We're going to see, are any of these legitimate? Do they have any foundation? Or are they just baseless nonsense claims about us Harley Riders? Alright, now if you guys aren't already familiar with Yammienoob, then not to fear, you're not missing out on anything. No, I'm just joking. I'll put a link below to the video that he did. Of course, this is all in good fun and humor, so don't take anything too seriously. But let's jump into it.
You can't be a true Harley rider if you wear a helmet. And yes, 3/4 and half helmets do count.
The first claim made is that Harley Riders don't wear helmets, and that not even a half cut or a quarter cut counts. You got to go no helmet at all. And I have to say, there is, I think, some truth to that in the early days of riding. However, since Unknown Industries made it cool to ride a Harley and do wheelies, and since they came out of California where you have helmet laws, I have to say, since, you know, probably in the last decade or so, they've actually made it cool to wear a helmet on a Harley. So it's to the contrary, and that's at least for us younger folk that want to be dyna wheelie dudes. So I have to say to that, it's true and false. True and false.
To smile on your motorcycle means that you're having a good time, and to have a good time means that you have actual human emotions.
Number 2, you can't smile while you're on a Harley. Dude, could not be farther from the truth, man. You have a blast when you're on this thing. But I get it, you got that like bad boy persona, that look you gotta stick with. But the no smiling on a Harley, I kind of see where that comes from. Most of the dudes though who I watch riding Harleys are having an absolute total blast until the bike breaks down.
Well, that air-cooled chunk of American iron between your legs is definitely gonna cook your nuts if you let it.
Now here's the one that I got to give it to a man. Manspreading. The manspreading, dude, the starfish. I never understood what the deal was when you're watching a dude on a Harley. It's usually on a bigger cruisers like your Road Glide, Street Glide, Road King, bikes along those lines. But I gotta admit, that is quite goofy indeed, quite goofy indeed. I get it if you're on like a super long ride, it's nice to have those forward controls and highway pegs on your crash bars. But dude, if you're just commuting to and from work, man, there's no need to be doing the starfish manspreading on the freeway. So that one, I actually give it to you, Yammienoob. It's true, man. A lot of Harley riders do that. To each their own, man, as long as they're comfortable on their ride.
The only thing on earth that leaks more oil than the Deepwater Horizon is a Harley Davidson.
The other one they said is that all Harleys are going to be leaking oil. And well, I happen to have 4 Harleys sitting in the garage at the moment, and I checked, and only 2 out of the 4 were leaking oil, so I'd say that's a 50-50 shot. But I will say, the 2 bikes that are leaking oil, it's my own fault, because on both of those I beat the crap out of them. One, I was doing drifts and cracked the outer primary, and then on the other one it was this bike actually. And that's just what happens when you're hitting those dank wheelies, 12 o'clockers. It seems like in recent years Harley's gotten much better at not having their bikes leaking a ton of oil. And from my anecdotal personal experience, I've had as many non-Harley bikes, aka like metrics and some of those cruisers, leaking oil as my Harleys. And again, the majority of the Harleys that are leaking, it's usually because of the way I've been riding.
Right up there on the list of things that only Harley riders do is assert dominance over the left-hand lane.
All right, left lane losers is what they call them, man. Left lane losers, dude. How could they? I have seen on road trips where you got these big packs of riders, and I understand you got to watch out for bikers, but bikers also got to watch out for cars and be courteous to the car riders. So I don't see this in general, just like cruising around that Harley riders seem to take up the left lane, but on some road trips where I'm in a vehicle, I have seen where you got these big groups of riders and they go putting along, you know, in some cases probably slower than the speed limit, and they just don't let the cars by. And I gotta say, that's nonsense. But I don't know if that's only Harley riders. I feel like that could be just like big group rides in general. I could be mistaken though.
Next up on our list today of things that only Harley riders know how to do, it's to take corners a little bit too slow. And it's all down to going too slow. Not to mention, if you come in too hot to a corner, you're going to start scraping hard parts after about 20 degrees of lean.
They talked about scraping hard parts on these bikes because they don't have the best lean angle. That's not unique to Harleys. That's going to be your cruisers in general. All right, oh, there's a big one they talked about was the kickstands, and that one I gotta give it to you, man. The Harley kickstands are just wonky, man. They are goofy, dude. The first time you ever sit on it, it will feel like you're about to topple your bike over because just the way they're built. And I actually had somebody come and look at a Harley Road King that I was selling, and they did tip it over. They actually dropped the bike over. The kickstands are just goofy. So that one I give it to you guys. The kickstands are wacky for sure. All right, what else do I have on my list here, bro? Oh yeah, so these left lane losers. Yeah, there's some truth to that. Taking your time on your turns. It's a cruiser, man, not a race bike. I don't know what you expect, but I've seen some dudes on Harleys ripping it, probably going faster than a lot of the dudes on sport bikes.
Now, we all know that Harley riders are in charge when they're out on the road, and that's why the next thing only Harley riders do is not wave back to other riders. Now,
all right, they say you don't wave back, and I actually have found some truth to that, but that just depends on the rider, man. Some Harley dudes wave back, some don't. Some are paying attention, some aren't. But no, I feel like I've had Harley dudes wave back to me when I was on a Honda Grom. So that just, I think that comes down to the rider.
Now, this one is a real treat for any Harley rider out there, and you might not realize it, but you're officially the arbiter of what is and isn't a real bike.
Flexing like a fool. Harleys are the only cool bikes out there, so you're always going to be flexing on your buddies. I don't hang out with enough people to know if that's true or not, so that one's up in the air. What have you guys found? Is that true? There's probably a little bit of truth to that, but you know what? I think those are the dudes who buy a Harley and let it park and sit in their garage, and then they brag about it, but they don't actually go out and ride. Anybody who's actually out there riding, they don't care because they're just focused on having fun riding. All right, there you have it, you guys. My response to Yammienoob. And yeah, I guess out of all those claims, some of them were busted, some of them there's definitely truth to it. Obviously, at the end of the day, they're just screwing around over at Yammienoob, and I'm just joking around here. It's fun to ride a bike. We're lucky to ride bikes and have choices.
And our last point for today, our final point number 8, is that no matter what you ride, as long as you're on 2 wheels, you're having a good time. So even all the Harley guys out there, we support you, we respect you, even if we may or may not understand you fully. Thanks for watching the video. Remember, we're giving this motorcycle away. Go to yammienoob.co and check it out, or go to yammienoobmerch.com, get a shirt, get a hat, get entered to win. We'll see you on the next one.
Of all the bikes I have, this is one of the funnest ones, despite the fact that I get the occasional oil leak and that it's heavy and that I scrape metal parts. I still have a blast on it. Let me know below, what do you think? What are some misconceptions about the Harley Riders, or what are some truths that you've found out there about the Harley Riders? Drop a comment below, let me know. Like and subscribe if you dig it. We'll catch you on the next one. Adios, nos vemos.